Well, I'd start by saying I remember when we were kids, maybe you have a similar story, and we were battling our two fiercest enemies, boredom and brokenness, and you didn't have money and you didn't have anything to do. Everybody would just empty their pockets. Might be four of us, and whatever you had, you put on the table. I think at the time it was like $1.25. You could get a game of bowling, and so it didn't matter if one person had more money than the other. In fact, I often remember being the guy with the least money. Maybe I would have 75 cents, but if it was enough for all of us to get a game of bowling, somehow somebody had $5, somebody had $2, somebody had 50 cents. It didn't matter where the money came from. It was the idea of collecting it together, of giving what you had. And that's what this is. That's what this budget is. It's a sense that we have a common enemy and that we have a common heart, and so we want to bring whatever we have, everything we have, to dig down deep to find whatever our bit is and to contribute it. Now, some people are going to contribute more than others, and that's fine, and that's really between them and God. I personally never want to know exactly what or how much a certain person gives, but I want to know that everyone is giving. So, for instance, I look at the names of everybody who gives in the underground, but I never know exactly how much they give. It's just whether or not you contribute it to the collective joy and to the fight. But 50% is within our control, staff and programs, but the other 50%, so 50 cents on every dollar that we'll take in this year, will go outside of our control. And that's really how I see the budget divided this year, is about control. 50% of it is we'll decide, how it's spent and on the things that we're doing and the things that we care about to directly serve microchurches. But the other 50%, we're literally going to write checks to give away to the control of other ministries. And some of them are our ministries, some of them are local, some of them are global. About 25% are local and about 25% are worldwide. But it's a reflection of our heart. How can we say that we care even about our own people and their work that they're doing? Heroic, beautiful, life-giving, light-bringing, evil-defying work. We have to support them. So we have more mouths to feed this year, and so the budget has grown. And our relationships internationally continue to grow, and so the budget has grown. And in many ways, that 50% sort of dictates the other 50%. But we have to have staff to serve those people, to continue to build those relationships, to run things like, our training department and our media department and our coaching department, and to have things like a co-op facility like the new hub, and to have staff to run all of those things. Those things cost money. But if you look at the salaries, for example, that our people pay, our people are paid, they're so low. It's just like part of working for the underground is you have to be sacrificial yourself, because you're trying to lead people who are making great sacrifice. And so our own staff have to sort of exemplify that in themselves. So it is, for me, more than just a budget, and giving to it more than just tithing, and more than just supporting your church. It's about a story that we're telling, a picture that we're painting and saying, do you believe in this? And if you believe in it, then show us that you believe it. Show each other, support each other, and frankly, care about the world that is by and large suffering. It's not just a budget. Like every church, every organization has a budget. For us, it's a reflection of our values, of our heart. For instance, one of the things that is at the core of our identity, both theologically and practically, missiologically, is our relationship, our consciousness of the poor, and globally, the suffering of humanity. 80% of the world suffers in poverty. 50% in abject poverty. This is, if you were a Martian and you got in your spaceship and flew to Earth, you would say that is a desperately poor planet. Most of the world doesn't live in luxury the way that we do. Most of the world lives in shacks with mud floors and unsafe water and no access to education and no access to health care and no access to stable families and no access to dignity. And I just think if you have a relationship with Jesus, a Jesus who came to the weak, to the least, to the marginalized, and made them his best friends, made them the center of his work, how can we say that we are in friendship with that Jesus, that we are followers of that Jesus, if we ignore the plight of the poor globally? We cannot do that. And then on top of that, to be the richest church in the world, to be people who call on Jesus' name and at the same time collect money. We do that. That's something Christians do, and we do too. And so for us, I think the budget is as much a critique of the way that churches spend money. Most churches spend 71% of their budgets on operations. That's like salaries and things that make the church run to serve the people who come in and out of those doors. We want to be different than that.